Thank you everyone for being here tonight. To close out the evening, we have Bobby Shell. He's going to be performing a original, and I think it's going to be very tasteful for the crowd that we have here. We heard some of you are based, you have traditional families, and you believe in sovereignty. So everyone who's on the fringes and not for that, you might be one of the clown world people. So Bobby, take it away.
Wake up in the morning, salt and pepper my eggs. I got my ribeye cooked, that's the life that I live. I hate the city traffic, outskirts where I sit. Grocery store, I ain't about it. Shopping, farmer's market, I'm living base. I ain't basic, raw sauce, no poison I'm tasting. Homegrown, wrist blazing, speaking truth on the beat, got the whole world praying. Lord, bring back the good life. Why these politicians losing it, act right. Wife and 2 kids, sitting quite nice. Life is so great when you got yourself a trad wife. Yes, Lord, I got the good life. Let these politicians know they better act right. Wife and 2 kids, sitting quite nice. Life is so great when you got yourself a trad wife. What up, freaks? The beat is beefsteak, supercharged with the flow, all gas and no brakes. I live at this pace, I thrive in the face of any challenge. Just lift your hands and pray. Lord, bring back the good life. Why these politicians losing it, act right. Wife and 2 kids, sitting quite nice. Life is so great when you got yourself a trad wife. Yes, Lord, I got the good life. Let these politicians know they better act right. Wife and 2 kids, sitting quite nice. Life is so great when you got yourself a trad wife. Don't forget the first thing before breakfast. 1, 2, 3, gotta get a bench press. Never skip a leg day, nah, little princess. I don't cut corners for my sons, I never been wrecked. Oh my gosh, is that the sat slinger? Earning 99% on Wave Lake, the cash bringer. Listen, cash is trash and I'm the beekeeper. The cyber hornets are out, a noster bee lever. Wake up in the morning, salt and pepper my eggs. I got my ribeye cooked, that's the life that I live. I hate the city traffic, outskirts where I sit. Grocery store, I ain't about it. Shopping, farmer's market, I'm living based. I ain't basic, raw sauce, no poison I'm tasting. Homegrown, wrist blazing, speaking truth on the beat, got the whole world praying. What up, freaks? The beat is beefsteak, supercharged with the flow, all gas and no brakes. I live at this pace, I thrive in the face of any challenge. Just lift your hands and pray. Lord, bring back the good life. Why these politicians losing it, act right. Wife and 2 kids, sitting quite nice. Life is so great when you got yourself a trad wife. Yes, Lord, I got the good life. Let these politicians know they better act right. Wife and 2 kids, sitting quite nice. Life is so great when you got yourself a trad wife.
It is 9:50 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It's the 27th of March 2024, and this is episode 878, a palindrome episode of Bitcoin and Circle P is open for business. Let me get my Circle P going on here. What do I got? Looks like I got Shishi again. No, wait, no, I don't. Nope, I've got Maple Trade. Noster handle is at Beisnerds, Beisnerds. And if you want some serious maple syrup that's made by hand by somebody that actually has been making maple syrup by hand, he's not drop shipping it. He's actually making it. He's tapping the maple trees. He's getting the sap. He's boiling it down. He's putting it in bottles and he's shipping it to you, the plebs, for Bitcoin. Because if you're not selling your goods and services in Bitcoin, you're not in the Circle P. It's not because I don't like you. It's because we've got to start doing a circular economy. We have to start doing it. That's why it's the Circle P, or Circular Economy Plebs. Circle P. Strange things are afoot at the Circle P. You can get a quart of handmade maple syrup for $27, 3 quarts for $68. You can get a half gallon for $45 or a whole gallon for $80. You can get 4 pints for $50. And again, he takes Bitcoin. I believe it's both on-chain as well as Lightning payments if you choose. His sister Sarah also makes some great beef tallow-based soaps. And these are the kinds of handmade soaps that you'll see in stores. But unlike the ones that you soap and maple syrup, you can get them both from my friend Beisnerds, aka Maple Trade. He is at Beisnerds on Twitter as well as Noster. So go find him, go DM him, and make sure that you tell him that you heard it here on the Circle P. Now let's get on with the show. I got to pop something up here into the live chat for you guys. We'll get to this in just a second. But first, you might have noticed a couple of really weird looking candles this morning. I think we got up to 71,000 and change this morning, and then we plummeted. Where are we at? We're at 69,773 bucks on the price of Bitcoin today. All right, so what the hell's going on? At first, and I still think that this is probably some of it, it looked to me like they went hunting longs as well as shorts at the same time early this morning, starting at 6 a.m., which is usually when this kind of crap normally starts happening. You start seeing action begin at about 6 o'clock a.m. Why? Well, because that's when I start looking at the price of Bitcoin, and it's like the gods just decide, hey, oh look, David's looking at the price. Let's scare the living piss out of him. Why? Because we don't like him. No, that's just pure humor. It's just coincidence. I happen to be waking up probably around the same time. Somebody somewhere else is like, this is just when I decide to scare everybody to death. And like I said on Monday, what we normally see is a price run on Mondays, because the IBIT shares, or iShares IBIT Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock, they do a buy on Monday morning. And then during the week, we see it bleed down. And over the weekend, shit gets even really more scary. And then Monday occurs and IBIT starts buying shares again cheaper than what they... It seems to be the cycle, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. However, this morning it does feel a little bit different, and there's a couple of reasons why, and I'm going to get into 3 of them. First, from Bitcoin, from The Block, theblock.co, from Brian McGleenan, we've got this one. Bitcoin options open interest for March expiry on Deribits has hit record levels. This is definitely one of the things that's charging this plunge, this rise up and this plunge down, because over 9.5 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars worth of crypto options open interest is set to expire this week on Deribit Cryptocurrency Derivatives Exchange. This makes Friday's end of month expiry one of the largest the leading crypto derivatives exchange has ever seen. Quote, this Friday marks one of the biggest expiries in Deribit's history, as $9.5 billion worth of Bitcoin option open interest are out of $26.3 billion will expire, or 40%. And I'm not exactly sure what that's a quote from Deribit analysts saying in a note that they sent to the block. The date from Deribit corresponds with that from the block's data dashboard. According to the block's data, open interest in US dollar value for Friday's March end of month expiry for Bitcoin options contracts on Deribits has increased to a peak of $8.61 billion. In contrast, the end of month expiries on Deribit for January and February were significantly lower. We're talking $3.7 billion and $3.7 billion for both the months of January and February. So March is seeing like 3x that. According to Deribit, out of the $9.5 billion of Bitcoin option open interest, at a current spot price level of around 70K, 3.9 billion will expire in the money with a max paying price of $50,000. This means that if these options were to be exercised before or on Friday, they would generate a profit, suggesting a significant portion of the options contracts are currently valuable based on the current price of Bitcoin. The Deribit analyst added that the present situation implies that a large number of options are profitable due to Bitcoin's recent price rally, which can lead to derivatives traders seeking to hedge their positions or speculate on further price movements. Deribit analysts also suggested that with higher levels of in-the-money expiries, increased buying activity may occur as option holders exercise their contracts. This activity could potentially exert upward pressure on the price of Bitcoin or increase volatility as traders adjust their positions. Quote, these levels are higher than usual, also be seen in the low max paying levels. Reason is, of course, the recent price rally. Higher levels of in-the-money expiries might lead to potential upward pressure or volatility in the underlying and a removal of the lower max paying magnet, Deribit analysts said. I think some people are exercising their in-the-money contracts and basically just selling out. And I think that that's one of the things. But I still think that the way that the spike up and the spike down within 2 hours of each other, by the way, I mean, this was a 2-hour pocket. You know, it wasn't a whole long time. Yet the first hour it goes up to like 71,270 or something like that. And then the low side goes all the way down to like 68.2 or something. It was like, I think it was like a $3,000 plunge from that first high. It looks to me like they were hunting longs and shorts. And I'll bet you a bunch of longs as well as a bunch of shorts got liquidated. We'll find out numbers about that later on today or tomorrow. So we'll figure it out. All right, an announcement before we get into the rest of what's causing this price swing action. I have moved the Bitcoin and podcast from my host, which has been SoundCloud for 5 years, over to podhome.fm. Reason is this. SoundCloud is never going to engage any of the podcasting 2.0 features. It's become evident that they are a dying platform along with quite a few of the other ones. And the only way that I was going to escape that mayhem is coming in for them in the future, as well as other platforms, is to move my happy ass and all of my shit over to podhome.fm. Now, I'm pretty sure that this should not affect anything as far as you guys that are listening to the show are concerned. Right? It should be exactly the same. Your podcast app should just immediately be able to, get to the show without changing anything that you do. However, I reserve the right to be so freakishly wrong that it's not even funny. But be that as it may, as of this moment, this show that I'm recording right now will be the first show that I actually upload to podhome.fm and their interface rather than the SoundCloud interface. So SoundCloud has been truncating all my, well, not all the shows individually, but there's only 500 shows that you can actually get to on my podcast. I have I have 878 shows as of this one. So do the math. They've truncated quite a few of my shows. I'm sick of it, right? So the early shows you can't even listen to on SoundCloud. I'm going to have to do quite a bit of surgery to get those shows up. But I just wanted to let you guys know that if for whatever reason funkiness occurs, please, please, please let me know. Get on Nostr, DM me, or just tag me in a note, whatever. Send me a boostagram. That always works as well. Do whatever it is and tell me what it is that has happened that you're unable to listen to the show, or some funkiness has occurred, or if you know somebody that's saying I don't know how to get to a show anymore, please direct them directly to me. I will try to figure it out. Anyway, so expect funkiness, because I am expecting funkiness. The second thing is this. I set up the value for value. So if you're streaming me Satoshis, or if you're giving me boostagrams, those for the moment are no longer going to my node directly. They are streaming to the Get Alby wallet. And I'm going to see if that works for at least a little bit. Okay. Cause I'm always taking money off the table out of my Alby wallet, and I'm throwing it directly into my wallet. But my Lightning node has had some liquidity issues, and people that want to throw me 45,000 sats, impossible. 10,000 sats seems to be the upper limit. If any of you guys want to test that upper limit out and throw me 50,000, 100,000 sats to see if the Get Alby will be more receptive to larger boosts than my particular Lightning node has been in the past, I would appreciate it. You're under no obligation whatsoever to do that. Now, over here in the Zap.stream, I have a picture of the Wyoming Sovereign Roundup for 2024. Arcturus is one of my bros. He's been DMing me about this thing apparently forever. And my DMs on Nostr, come on. It's okay. I'm not mad. I'm not angry, but let's call a spade a spade. The DMs on Nostr are jacked up. I don't get notices. Sometimes I don't know. It's bizarre behavior. I can't really describe it because it's that bizarre. Again, I'm not upset. I'm not going to yell at Fiat Joff like other people are doing, say, oh, DMs are so screwed up, Nostr's stupid. No. We're all operating out here in the wild, trying to build a new world. Think it's going to be easy. I got another thing. But I promised Arcturus that I would talk about the Wyoming Sovereign Roundup for 2024, a decentralization summit in the Cowboy State. So when is it? Well, it's in about 73 days from now in Wyoming. Tickets are $219. You can buy them now on the website, which is sovereignroundup.com. That's sovereignroundup.com. It is in Sleeping Giant Ski Resort at Cody, Wyoming. That's Cody, Wyoming at the Sleeping Giant Ski Resort, Saturday, June the 8th, 2024. Again, that's Saturday, June the 8th, 2024. And let's see who's going to be. Oh, tickets include access to the speakers and workshops of the summit, 100% grass-fed beef-centered brunch and dinner. Carter Country Meats nutrient-dense beef is going to be doing that. Access to participate in extracurricular activities with summit attendees. I guess that means having a few drinks and possibly just getting bombed out of your tree. Anyway. Optional extracurricular Wyoming activities. Whitewater rafting, horseback riding, shooting, hiking, and more. And maybe the more includes the bar. I don't know. But here's the speaker list. Check it out. Caitlin Long, Dr. Gerald Pollock, Matt Hill, he's from Start9 Labs. Matt Hill's one of the coolest public speakers you will ever get to hear. It doesn't matter if you like Start9 or not. I heard him give a speech that just lit the room on fire at BitBlock Boom a few years ago, and I was like, that motherfucker knows how to talk in public. If you don't know how to talk in public, consider joining the Toastmasters. Again, yes, old club, ancient history, but it works. Will Cole will be there. He's from Zaprite. Anjan Kata, I don't know who that is. Erwin LaCour, don't know who that is. R.C. Carter, A.J. Richards from The Farm, and Jason Rick from Rick Ranches, Adam O from Upstream Data, and of course, Colin, a.k.a. Arcerus Distributed Hash. So again, tickets are $219. It is going to be on June the 8th, 2023, Sleeping Giant Ski Resort, Cody, Wyoming. Wyoming actually sounds like it would be. All right, I'm just going to leave that up, and we're going to move on to the second part of what the hell. When did this occur? This was yesterday when this shit was announced. Pretty early in the morning for my time. It was announced 8:11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So this has been brewing in the background. So this is not helping. Kucoin's large. They've been around for a long time. And it looks like the federal prosecutors are going to just decide to put the screws to them. I don't know which way it's going to go. But this leads in to this other story from CoinDesk. Nicholas Day is writing it. Coinbase lawsuit. So this is putting further pressure on the price of Bitcoin today. A federal judge ruled that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission brought enough evidence of a case arguing that Coinbase is indeed operating an unregistered broker, exchange, and clearinghouse that its suit against the cryptocurrency company should indeed move forward. Judge Catherine Polk-Faya of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York on Wednesday ruled against most of Coinbase's motion to dismiss the lawsuit, finding that the regulatory agency had a plausible case against the exchange. She has set an April 19th deadline for the parties to agree on a case scheduling plan. So that's all you need to know about that one. All right, so Coinbase has been, they filed this motion a while back to get this entire suit against them dismissed, and the suit is that they're an unregistered brokerage. Now, this is interesting. Why? Because Coinbase is the repository and the third-party custodian for most of the Bitcoin spot ETFs. Only 2 of the Bitcoin spot ETFs out of the 11 that were approved January the 11th of this year, only 2 of them self-custody or custody with a different third party. All of the rest of them are using Coinbase, and that includes BlackRock. And here we've got federal prosecutors with a pretty big lawsuit against Coinbase that is going to move forward. So if I was BlackRock, I would be looking for a new custodian. Just saying. And all the rest of the guys, if you're custodying with, Coinbase, get your shit out. You should have never had your Bitcoin on that exchange in the first damn place. But if you needed any more reason whatsoever to get your shit off of Coinbase, now is it. This is it. This thing is going forward. Does it mean that the SEC will win? I honestly, my gut feeling is that no, they won't. That somehow or another, they're going to that Coinbase is going to either pull it out of the fire, or they are going to do everything that they can to satisfy the SEC and say, look, we're here to play ball. And that's the way it's going to roll. Right? So the SEC is either going to lose another case, or this case is going to be so serious and so costly that Brian and all the rest of the naked mole rats over there at Coinbase are going to do every single thing that the SEC tells them to do and more to make this go away, or if they are found guilty, that it's just a simple monetary slap on the wrist. But either way, nobody should have their coins over on CoinDesk. Now, we're going to go over to Africa with yet another exchange situation going on. Nigerian Binance executive has escaped custody, deepening an ongoing feud. Bitcoin Magazine, Landon Manning has this one. In Nigeria, excuse me, hold on for I need to check one thing. All right. In Nigeria, home of the largest digital asset economy in Africa, a feud has been developing between the government of Nigeria and Binance. A feud that has culminated with one of the company's executives escaping house arrest and fleeing the country. Boasting the sixth largest population in the world, the Federal Republic of Nigeria holds a large economic influence over the African continent and a respectable sway in the greater world market. Although the possible future for Nigeria's economic development has been a topic of great interest for global financial institutions, a particular point of interest is the nation's apparent affinity for Bitcoin. For example, the country is at the top of nations by relevant Google search, such as invest in crypto and other searches like that. Additionally, due to some of the classic reasons like rampant inflation and declining local currency, Nigeria also contains the largest trading volumes in all of Africa. For these reasons, a possible Bitcoinization of Nigeria would be a significant boon to Bitcoiners worldwide, and the country may one day be a real hub for the industry. And therefore, Bitcoiners today should certainly be interested in the developing feud concentrated between Binance and the Nigerian government, with special attention to the possibility of a broader crackdown on the industry. Quarrel began in earnest in February of 2024 when an alleged glitch in Binance's peer-to-peer transaction platform led to deflated prices for users, as government officials formally accused the company of blatantly setting a special exchange rate for Nigeria and trying to manipulate the currency to ground zero. The central bank considered the widespread usage of P2P Bitcoin transactions as a possible contributor to the Naira's falling performance and sought to take action against Binance. Considering the inflation in Nigeria is climbing at the fastest rate in decades, this problem seemed especially concerning to authorities, and to this end, a somewhat confusing series of events unfolded. Reports circulated in February that the government was blocking services from major exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken. Coinbase, for its part, claimed that they had experienced no such troubles with the Nigerian government at the time. The government went on to clarify its position when the CBN singled out Binance, announcing that some $26 billion in untraceable funds had apparently passed through the country in Nigeria. This quantity of cash would represent a significant capital outflow for the entire economy. Additionally, of course, such a large figure certainly reflects a relatively high level of interest and adoption in the broader population. After Binance refused to cooperate with allegations that it had enabled various financial crimes on its platform, the government took the aggressive step of detaining not one but two executives, a British and an American citizen. This step led to a flurry of activities as the situation between Nigeria and the crypto economy became increasingly muddied. Was the government targeting Binance due to a recalcitrant attitude, or is it only the first step in a planned crackdown on the wider world of Bitcoin? The government shuttered the largest P2P exchange in the nation, but is the practice of P2P Bitcoin trading itself next on the chopping block? Nigerian regulators published an updated list of guidelines foreign exchanges to follow, and the government additionally entered a new partnership to experiment with the feasibility of rolling out a CBDC, the e-Naira. In the United States, the Chamber of Digital Commerce even pressured the White House to intervene in the situation, demanding that the American Binance official be released from custody. This tense and ambiguous situation came to a head in a very unexpected way when Nadeem Anjarwalla, a dual British Kenyan national and arrested Binance executive, escaped Nigerian custody with a smuggled passport and fled the country 2 days ago, March the 25th. Although his family claimed that his exit from the company or country was entirely legal, Nigeria has asked Interpol to post an international arrest warrant for him. Apparently, his guards allowed him to leave house arrest, visit a nearby mosque, and attend worship services. And that's where he disappeared. Not only have the guards been arrested, pending an investigation, but the government has also formally charged Binance with tax evasion. Anjarwala's American colleague, Tigran Gambaryan, remains in federal custody and has been named as a accusations. All right, so there's a few more things to this story, but we don't have to get into that. What I think happened is that this dude bribed the guards and said, "Hey, look, I need to go to church." And while he was being walked to church with the guards, he was having a non-monitored conversation because they bugged his house. I mean, they're listening. They put a listening device somewhere in there. I'll bet you. So he's walking down the street with his two guards, or maybe even in a car, and he's telling them, "Look, man, let me go. I'll send you some Bitcoin." And that's what I think happened. I don't think he escaped the guards. I think the guards let him go. I think this whole thing stinks to high heaven. But what's really the point here is that Nigeria, they're going to be one of the largest dominoes to fall when it comes to hyper Bitcoinization, Bitcoin circular economy, and basically people burning their Nigerian fiat for actual real money that's going to matter to them in the very, very, very near future. And the Nigerian government doesn't like that. And I guarantee you that the Nigerian government doesn't like that because they've been told not to like that by the IMF, United States, UN, World Bank, World Monetary Fund, you name it. They have been told to hate Bitcoin. And they're going to hate Bitcoin more than any other countries that are under the same people's thumbs. Why? Because they have an actual economy in Africa. Nigeria is a huge nation when it comes to not only the population, the amount of trade that they execute, not only inter-Africa, but internationally. It's huge. They have really, really come a long way, but because they listen to the IMF and the World Bank and all the rest of these, their fiat currency is dissolving before the eyes of its citizenry, and their citizenry is at the edge of their rope. Or at the end of their rope, and they're just having none of it. So they're buying Bitcoin with it, and I guarantee you, the Nigerian government is being told, you will stop this, or you can kiss all IMF future loans goodbye, which is exactly what they should be doing. But we've got a couple more things to do here. U.S. Bitcoin miner Giga Energy is launching a facility in Argentina, according to Braden Lindria from Cointelegraph. Texas-based Bitcoin miner Giga Energy has expanded its operations into the country of Argentina as a part of a move to utilize wasted energy from natural gas flaring on the South American nation's oil fields. Gas flaring is the burning of the natural gas associated with oil extraction, methane being released as part of the process, which Giga then converts into electricity to power Bitcoin mining rigs. The expansion will see Giga place a large shipping container with thousands of Bitcoin miners on top of an oil well, which will divert the excess gas into electrical generators and then harnessing that energy to power the mining rig, according to a report March the 26th from CNBC. Wow, CNBC's covered. The mining site, based in the province of Mendoza, has been in test phase since December and has already mined between $200,000 and $250,000 worth of Bitcoin, the firm's other co-founder, Matt Lostra, told CNBC. However, the firm is still waiting to import all the necessary equipment before it can fully scale the operation, and until then, the firm doesn't expect to earn a profit. So now we've got Texas, and I've always thought this. Argentina is South America's Texas. lots of cattle ranching, lots of fuck you attitude. I mean, you name it, man. The Argentinians remind me a lot of Texans. And the environment down in Argentina reminds me a lot of Texas, or at least from what I know about it. I've never actually ever been there, but be that as it may. I think this is a perfect marriage. And what's neat is that it links Texas, not the United States, but the state of Texas directly to Argentina, which is something that I always thought should have happened, but just didn't know how it was going to occur. And now I do. All right, let's run the numbers. For anybody new, I'm just moving some stuff around for when I have to produce this show for static pod. All right, here we go. CNBC futures and commodities. West Texas Intermediate is down just over half a point to $81.07 a barrel. Brent North Sea likewise down 0.66% to 85.68. Natural gas is down 3.86% to $1.71, and gasoline is down a third to $2.69. Gold and silver are up. All the rest of your shiny metal rocks are down. Gold looking at $2,212.30 after a 0.6% rise. Silver is up a third to $24.70. Platinum is down 1.2%. Copper is down scant. Palladium is down 1.5 points. Lumber is down 1.83%, but cotton has got it beat. It is down 3.01%. The biggest winner today is coffee. Nope, chocolate is the biggest winner. 2.79% to the upside. Live cattle is down almost a half point. Lean hogs are up 2/3 of a point, and feeder cattle is down 0.12%. United States Treasury bond yields are all up except for the 4-month. No, they're all down. Sorry. God. All of the Treasury bond yields are in the red today on their change. They're all down except for the 4-month, which is actually up. 30-year is now yielding 4.35%, 20-year 4.45%, 10-year 4.19%. All right, Clark Moody's dashboard price is $69,210. That is a $1.36 trillion market cap. There are 19,665,611.74 BTC in circulation, and the hash rate for the past 2016 blocks is an average of 593.4 hashes per second. Honestly, the hash rate has seemed very, very stable as of late. Not a whole lot of swings going on. And generally speaking, I used to see a lot of swings. Not seeing them that much. 0.23 BTC. So about a quarter of a BTC taken in fees on a per block basis. Halving is still going to be 4/20, 2024. That's a palindrome, by the way. I've found that out on Doster. So 4202024 is a palindrome. So 4202024 is read the same way both ways. So anyway, 420, bro, 420. 1.6% is how much block space we're having to give over to house ordinals and inscriptions. Such a waste of space. Such a waste. All right, 181 blocks carrying 127,000 unconfirmed transactions waiting to clear. High priority transaction costs are 33 Satoshis per VByte, and low priority cost is also 33 Satoshis per VByte. Anything under 4.75 Satoshis per VByte gonna get you ejected from mempools around the world. Hash rate that I'm seeing on mempool.space/mining is 546 exahashes per second, so that washes pretty well. Now, from the Phoenix Flies, episode 877 of the Bitcoin and podcast, 10,001 sats from letter 6173 says, these sats are for cold storage usage only. And that's exactly where they are, brother. Cold storage. Bubba with 2112. 2 palindrome boosts in a row. Bitches. Good for HODL. He found the simple life. As you and I and others now know, it is the way. We got a small house in the Mojave Desert. We got some Bitcoin. And S73VW Rat Rod Bug is a toy. It's a nice, simple life. Yeah, there's something to be said about that. And HODL said it all on Monday. Dubrovko with 1590. Just hearing this commercial enough times to make these clips makes me feel sick. And you see the holes in the business plan from these fuckfaces that want to farm our children. Yeah, Dubrovko put out a clip of an advertisement for a children's social media platform that is going to be, quote unquote, moderated by real people, real adults, but it's all 100% for children. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Let's see, Nodes and Hodes. 1000 Sat says Comfrey is amazing. Thanks for another great show. Bitcoin Boaz 921. Hashtag all sats matter at allsatsmatter.com. Excuse me. Wise Hodl with 690 says great show. Thank you, man. God's Death with 337. Thank you, sir. No, thank you. Pies with 100 says thank you, sir. No, thank you. And 100 from myself when I was testing a boost to see if this shit was actually going to work when I changed over from SoundCloud. All right, now let's see. Oh, no, that's it for the weather report. Welcome to part 2 of the news that you can use. Do you remember earlier this week, this place called Nylum Resources said that they were going to buy a whole bunch of Bitcoin? I think that was a Monday afternoon they said that. And it turns out that Nylum Resources was a gold miner, but it was like a penny stock. And you looked at their chart and it was like, Well, they're back in the news today. Nylum Resources CEO has resigned one day after a 24,800 Bitcoin announcement. Wow, this actually was written yesterday. This is out of outfit called protos.com. In a confusing press release that described a letter of intent, a penny stock called Nylum Resources announced that, along with Mauritius-based company Zyberdata, that it would be acquiring a yet-to-be-established special-purpose entity called Mindwave so that it could get its hands on 24,800 Bitcoin. However, the letter didn't detail how it will obtain the billions of dollars worth of currency. The confusion around the acquisition is compounded by the current financial status of each firm, with Nylum Resources corporate snapshot projecting it will have only $2 million in earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, or EBITDA. Zyberdata's unaudited financial statements reveal that it had approximately $70 million in shareholder funds with only $1.5 million cash in hand. This is significantly less than the approximately $1.2 billion price of the Bitcoin these firms are supposedly acquiring, and it's not clear how either firm would raise that much. However, the press release did note that Nylum will be issuing new Class C stock as part of this transaction. Pulling a Saylor. And it's not going to work because, unfortunately, despite seeing a more than 1,000% increase in the stock price, it seems as though it's not all good news for Nylon Resources because the CEO has cried foul. Protos called Nylon Resource executive Ron McIntyre to ask about the Bitcoin acquisition and was told in no uncertain terms that, quote, as of today, I have resigned as CEO and had my name removed from all corporate documents, end quote. Though he was still listed as CEO on the website, McIntyre was indeed removed from the position sometime in the past week. However, McIntyre still appears in corporate documents for the Nevada entity as a director, president, secretary, and treasurer. He has stated that he has resigned from those roles effective immediately as well. When asked why he resigned from the position, he told our reporter to, quote, just look at the chart. It's a classic pump and dump. There will be a FINRA investigation into Nylon Resources, he added. Wow. Dude, he just walked away. He said, you know what? You guys are insane. Anyway, McIntyre stated that while his coworkers had indicated that there was a transaction forthcoming, they never gave him the details of the deal and issued the press release without letting him review it or even telling him about the announcement. Quote, I will be going to the appropriate state bar, end quote. Okay, so I don't know what that actually means because the state bar, it's really weird because the bar is for lawyers. You have a bar license. You have the right to approach the bar. That's sort of where that comes from. That's an old British term. But that is a legal thing. So I don't know, is he approaching the bar because somebody who did this at Nylon Resources is a lawyer and he wants them to revoke his bar license? I don't know. But this thing is sketch AF. It is sketchy. It's shady. And this dude is like, I am having none of this. All right, so here's what it sounds like to me. The guys at Nylon Resources on their last legs, barely able to operate. There's no VC money anymore. All these banks are like, there's no lending available anymore. It's not at rates that are dirt cheap like they used to be. So this is a Hail Mary pass. So bypassing the CEO, the rest of the C-suite executives got together and said, let's pull a Michael Saylor. We're going to issue stock, also known as issuing debt, and they're going to use that stock sale to buy the Bitcoin, and they're going to do exactly what Michael Saylor has been successful at doing, except that Michael Saylor wasn't sitting on a shit company without any assets, without any money, without any liquidity, because he did have liquidity, he got the money, he got the assets, and he knew how to operate in the industry. And he's been able to sell debt like 5 times now and buy Bitcoin with it, and he's won every single time. So here comes Nylon Resources. We're going to do the playbook. Guys, if you were going to execute the playbook that Michael Saylor gave all the CEOs and CFOs 2 years ago, actually 3 years ago now, he gave them the playbook. He said, this is how you do it. This is how your chief financial officer should be operating if you guys want to, do what I've done. He had meetings. He had Zoom calls. He had a whole online webinar about it. How to do this shit. This is what happens when you wait to execute. Now, do I know if Nylon Resources was in on that webinar and read the playbook that Saylor gave him? No, I don't. But I do think that what happened is that they kept reading about what Michael Saylor was doing in the news and thought that they were going to put one over on their CEO and quote unquote save the company. That company, there's going to be some arrests out of this. Even his own CEO said that there's going to be a FINRA investigation because he knows that there will be a FINRA investigation. Not that he talked to FINRA, but he's like, dude, what you guys just did? You're going to be investigated by FINRA. You're going to be found guilty. You're going to go to trial and you'll be found guilty again. Like, oh my God, it's just amazing what people get up to now. But speaking of Michael Saylor, he has surprisingly picked Bitcoin over his own stock. What the hell is that about? Well, Godfrey Benjamin from You Today has it. MicroStrategy chairman Michael Saylor has given, in a surprise statement to the Abundance Summit, more credit to Bitcoin than to his company's stocks. In a contemplative note, Saylor expressed his confidence in Bitcoin's enduring presence over the centuries, while stating that he and his company are rather transient. A video circulating on X, as shared by Trey Sellers, features a question and answer session where an attendee posed a thought-provoking question to Michael Saylor, asking whether it would be wiser to invest in MicroStrategy stock instead of directly purchasing Bitcoin. The attendee maintained that he has made 5 times more profit from MicroStrategy than with Bitcoin. Experts say that this is not surprising, considering that MicroStrategy has eclipsed e-commerce giant Amazon as far as trading volume goes, according to recent data. In response, Saylor advised prospective investors to dedicate sufficient time to studying thoroughly before going ahead to invest in the digital asset. He suggests a minimum 100 hours of research before making any investment decisions whatsoever. Saylor harped on the importance of making informed decisions when it comes to investing in the digital asset. He recommended intensive research intending to understand the optimal method of Bitcoin ownership: self-custody, institutional custody, or via an exchange-traded fund. This, of course, will spark debate in the broader cryptocurrency community, as different people have their preferred entry point preferences related to the digital asset. Regardless of their opinion, Saylor's unwavering confidence in Bitcoin as, quote, the signal, remains unshaken even in light of market volatility. Saylor contrasted Bitcoin with the rigorous process required to invest in MicroStrategy stock, highlighting the extensive pages of disclosures that potential investors must read. He also pointed out a practical barrier for certain investors, noting that individuals in Nigeria, for instance, cannot self-custody MicroStrategy stock. Saylor then shifted the focus to the broader mission of MicroStrategy, highlighting the company's commitment to solving fundamental societal issues such as integrity, sovereignty, truth, and hope through the adoption of a protocol. He also acknowledged MicroStrategy's status as a high-performing business. Interestingly, the MicroStrategy chairman revealed a unique restriction within his company, stating that investors are prohibited from directly purchasing Bitcoin. Saylor says that instead, they are required to invest in publicly traded operating companies in the company's portfolio. That's really interesting. I think that that's wrong. I'll get to that here in a sec. Lastly, earlier this month, MicroStrategy reinforced its Bitcoin reserves by acquiring an extra 9,245 BTC valued at around $620 million, funded through convertible senior note proceeds and surplus cash from the digital. That's the end of the article. Now there's 2 main things, and I want to get the smaller one out first. When it says that Michael Saylor revealed a unique restriction within his company, stating that investors are prohibited, I think what he means is that employees are prohibited from directly purchasing Bitcoin. I don't know that, but if I buy stock in MicroStrategy, which I can do, I don't hold any, but I could if I wanted to. As a private citizen in the United States, I can go buy MicroStrategy stock on the open market. He can't tell me whether or not I get to buy Bitcoin. So I would love if that paragraph was to be expanded, because maybe he's talking about not employees and not general investors, but specific people, like the people that are buying the senior convertible notes, that you sign a waiver or something like that to Michael Saylor that says, I understand that I am buying MicroStrategy preferred senior convertible notes for the process of MicroStrategy to buy more Bitcoin. And I promise that I will not purchase Bitcoin and hold it myself. I've never heard of anything like that. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would Michael Saylor give shit one if one of their senior note convertible holders or senior convertible note holders also has Bitcoin? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. If somebody can shed some light on that, please tell me. Here's the other thing, and this is much more important. This is the first time, and I've heard Michael Saylor speak a lot. I've never really come out and just flat ass defended Michael Saylor against all of his detractors. I do like the guy, but I never found it necessary to defend him against, wrongdoing or somebody who said something stupid. But I'm putting that there just to give you a little bit of context. So that context leads me here. This is the first time, after all the times that I've heard Michael Saylor talk about Bitcoin, this is the most salient things I've heard him say about Bitcoin. What do I mean by that? Well, when he says his confidence in Bitcoin's enduring presence over the centuries, and that he and his company are quote unquote rather transient, this tells me that he really understands what it means to look into the future further than you will be alive. And when he says his company, that means he's looking farther than his legacy will survive. If his company, MicroStrategy, is only legacy, then he's admitting that his own legacy will not survive the fires of time. That takes a pretty big man to admit publicly, especially when you're a billionaire, because that could really spook some people that are, quote unquote, investors. But he's absolutely correct. And honestly, this is, like I said, I'm not a fanboy of Michael Saylor, but holy shit, this dude, he actually fucking gets it. Not just Bitcoin. This statement kind of shows me that he understands the nature of the universe. That's hard to get your head around. And none of us actually get our heads all the way around it. Some of us have our heads around the nature of the universe more than others. Michael Saylor seems to be one of these cats that's walking around outside, actually understands existence, what it means, what the passage of time actually means, what money actually is, what legacy means. All these other people are out there LARPing around and jumping from one great deal to another, or day trading themselves into an early grave. This cat actually understands the future. He's looking into the future for centuries. That's important. And that gives me a hell of a lot more confidence in Michael Saylor than I had before I read this article. Let's move on. Alby extension version 3.7.0. Safari browser support, NIP or NIP44, and new onboarding flows. Alby is a Bitcoin Lightning browser extension that connects to different wallet interfaces and brings deep Lightning integration to the web. So what's new? Improved permission management for Nostr. No more annoying Nostr request pop-ups if you don't want them. That'll be interesting. I actually like the pop-ups. And the reason that I do is that it's giving me feedback that I really am talking to the Alby extension. So I'm probably going to keep my pop-ups live, but it's nice that they give you the option to say, no, I don't want the pop-ups. I just want you to, when I zap somebody, I just want it to go through. I don't want to hear about it later. I don't want to give you more permission. Get it done. And now we have, this is my favorite part. I love this. Apple support, both Mac and iOS compatibility. Now you can use your Alby extension in Safari on both iOS, Mac OS, and iPad OS. That means, yes, you can use this shit on your iPhone to sign in to other Nostr clients. That, along with doing all the other stuff that Get Alby does, which is quite a bit, by the way. Stable Sats integration is also new. View your Blink Stable Sats balance in fiat. I don't know what Stable Sats are. Oh, dude, Kid Warp. Thank God. Kid Warp, one of my favorite people, is back. 420 sats just popped out of his wallet and into the Zapdot stream. Thank you, my friend Kid Warp. I appreciate you and everything. Like I said, I don't know what the hell Blink Stable Sats are, but I'm sure we'll hear about it later. New onboarding flows. They've simplified and combined master key backup and import flow and just import Noster flow. Wish they'd be a little bit specific about it. NIP44 encrypted messages support is new. There's a new icon set called Popicons. The hell? Popicon? What the hell's Popicon? Hold on, I gotta see this. I gotta see it. Let's see Popicon. Put that up in the Zapdot stream. So these are apparently all the new Popicons that we. Yes, I don't know. Weird, but I'll just leave that up there. Multilingual setup wizard is new. Optimizations for smaller screens is new. And lots of bug fixes, as you might expect. So thank God for the Get Alby team. They are just heads down, shipping. And Hedgehog. This is different. I haven't heard about Hedgehog before, but this is apparently a protocol for asynchronous layer 2 Bitcoin payments. Hedgehog is a protocol for two-party payment channels. Hedgehog channels are similar to Lightning channels, but with a few comparative benefits such as offline receiving capabilities. Oh. Quote, my latest invention is Hedgehog, protocol for asynchronous layer 2 Bitcoin payments, announced Super Testnet, the developer behind Hedgehog. The user experience is similar to eCash protocols like Cashew or Fedimint, except no server. Hedgehog is built on a primitive in Bitcoin script called revocable connectors. To make revocable connectors, you need two even more primitives, revocable scripts, and connector outputs. I have an idea for how to use Hedgehog channels to build a federated coin pool that I call Burrow. It has a bunch of cool properties, but it requires a coordination server. See more about that here, and he gives highlights. Hedgehog channels are simpler than Lightning channels. State updates only require the sender to propose an update and the recipient to accept it. The recipient can wait to accept a state change until they want to propose another one. And that state change just means I send you coins through the channel. That's a state change. You send me a different amount of coins through the channel. That's another state change. That's what they're talking about. Now here it is. This is the one that leads me to believe that this. Well, there's two things that lead me to believe that Hedgehog is going to be important. One is that the developer is Super Testnet. Okay, that's just by itself is like, holy shit. But here's number two. Callie, the developer of Cashew, he's got a note here that says, this is incredible. Super Testnet just invented a new type of payment channel with offline receive. It makes use of connector outputs, which is a concept introduced by ARC. There is no service provider, however. Channels are peer-to-peer. 1% the complexity of Lightning. Okay, so we got Super Testnet, one of the older developers in the space and one of the most respected developers in the space, announcing Hedgehog, which you can receive Lightning-like payments offline without a server. And now we've got Callie, the guy behind Cashew, saying that it's incredible. I think we're going to need to watch for Hedgehog. Okay, watch for Hedgehog, watch for Hedgehog, watch for Hedgehog. I'm going to put, that's not, oh, is that, I don't know why that works. I'm going to put, no, I'm not going to log in. So Super Testnet at super_testnet on Twitter said, and this was the announcement. My latest invention is Hedgehog. Check out the video here, and he links to I shouldn't. Stacker.news. Oh my God, I'm getting tired today. I should have known that. Stacker.news. Anyway, I'm not going to play the video, but if you guys want to go see it, it's at stacker.news, and you can see Hedgehog, a protocol for asynchronous layer 2 payments. I think this is going to be important. I really do. I really do. I really do. So don't miss out on this. All right, I'm going to go popcorn. And now, Machankura V2 is going to turn feature phones into Bitcoin signing devices. The developer, there is no way I can pronounce this guy's name, announced Machankura's Bitcoin Java card project at Adopting Bitcoin Cape Town conference. The project will let feature phones double as non-custodial Bitcoin wallets. Quote, Java card is software that allows applets, basic computer programs that perform specific tasks, to run on smart cards, which communicate with the SIM cards in the phones. In this case, the Java card software will enable African users to hold their Bitcoin private keys, sign transactions, and see their UTXO balances. The Java card is a chip that runs on your SIM card. You stick it on a normal SIM card, and it adds functionality that you programmed on the chip on top of the feature phone. With this chip, you can then program an applet which has Bitcoin-related functionalities like signing. We have programmed the ability for it to produce a SegWit address, now just waiting for the next part to complete, where you are able to communicate with a relay, something like an Electrum server. Server feeds you all of the blockchain data, and then you can see your balance. Now we can send a message to a relay from the Java card applet, and what we need to do is successfully receive a message via the Java card project. The SIM card can receive SMS with the chip, but the chip cannot trigger events while it's on the SIM card. That is the part that we're still working on. So that's amazing. So if you missed it, and you may have missed it, he's talking about pulling the SIM card out of your iPhone or whatever smartphone you use and putting a sticker on it. That's the Java card. It's not like a thick card. It can't be. Why? Because the SIM card, after it has the Java card stuck onto it, has to fit back into the SIM slot. So we're talking about fabric width layers of programmability. This doesn't stop with Bitcoin. What this dude just did is well and far away beyond the realm of Bitcoin and, God forbid, wider cryptocurrency thing. This is going to change everything. To be able to put a sticky thing, the width of a piece of fabric on top of your pre-existing phone card or your SIM card for your phone, plug it back into your phone, and you've got new functionality for your phone, especially if it's sovereign functionality, like being able to hold Bitcoin, being able to transact with Bitcoin, being able to see your balances, but also able to send Nostr messages or be able to do all kinds of other stuff. It has nothing to do with any of the things that I just mentioned. It's like the astronauts. They've been giving them cyanide pills ever since the start of the space program. And they could list 1,000 different reasons why you need to be able to kill yourself in a painless manner up in Earth's orbit, or if you're moving to the moon or going to Mars or something like that. But they really give it to you for all the reasons they cannot think of. This is the same, except much more bright of a future than killing yourself, right? It's just, I use that to illustrate the point that we could list a whole raft of examples of how this would be cool. But that pales in comparison to what we can't even see. Think about pulling your SIM card out of your phone, putting a sticker on it, shoving it back into your phone, and you have something that you never had before on your phone and something that only you control. This is amazing. The amount of development in this space has me nothing but bullshit. And for those of you who don't understand the reference, that means bullish. Moving on, Commerce Block has introduced Lightning Latch swap protocol for Mercury Layer. A Latch transfer enables a state coin to be transferred on condition of the successful payment of a Lightning Network invoice. It can be used for the sale of a state coin UTXO or an arbitrary amount of Bitcoin in a private and non-custodial way without counterparty risk. Lightning Latch transfers unlocked. We here at Commerce Block been working hard on attaching spending conditions to existing state coins, announced Nicholas Gregory, or it's possibly pronounced Gregory. With Mercury Layer's blinded servers, we now leverage HODL invoices to lock funds until a payment hash pre-image is revealed. This allows users to automatically sell assets like ordinals, or BTC by releasing the associated state coin upon a successful Lightning payment. The possibilities are endless. Here it comes again. Watch out. Ordinal artists, merchants, instant Lightning liquidity providers can leverage this for new use cases. Lightning Latch transfers open up a world of opportunities on top of Mercury Layer. So, the ability to confirm that a payment has been made before another action occurs. This is well known in Bitcoin, but this is, it's been, that type of thing has been a style of thinking quite a while. But Commerce Block has introduced a style of that called Lightning Latch Swap for their Mercury Layer. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for the morning roundup. Hold on, almost set, guys. Almost done. Dad says jokes. I had a happy childhood. My dad used to put me in tires and roll me down hills. Those were the good years. Good years. The good years. All right. We are so effing bullshit. I can't even imagine. I mean, Hedgehog, this Mercury Layer Lightning Latch thing, and the other thing with putting a Java card or what was it, a Java card? Whatever it was. Hold on, now I got to find it again. Hold on, because it's really important. I think this is one of the most important things that I've seen in a long time. Machankura. Machankura, Machankura version 2.0. This is amazing. The ability to just put a sticker on your SIM card. You do not miss out on this. Please don't. Please go and read the full announcement. Now, that is the context of the last part of what I want to talk to you about, is that move that I made from SoundCloud over to podhome.fm as my new podcast hosting platform. I am thinking that my show notes, because they're always a mess, and that's nothing that I can do about that. That is SoundCloud's issue. When I put in my stuff into the show notes section, when I'm uploading the show to SoundCloud, it looks fine as far as SoundCloud is concerned. But when all the others, well, at least Fountain, but I've seen it in several other apps, when those podcasting apps reach out and collect up the data from the RSS feed that is over there that's provided by SoundCloud, the show notes get wrecked. There's like no spacing, there's no formatting, there's no way to tell what the hell anything is. Links aren't live, nothing of that. I am crossing my fingers that I have now fixed that by going to Podhome, but I will not know until I go through the motions of uploading this show and all of its ancillary stuff that goes along with it into the Podhome interface rather than SoundCloud. This will be the first time. Yes, all of my shit is being redirected to Podhome because they scraped all of my stuff that was SoundCloud and brought it all over, but they brought it over the way that SoundCloud sees it. So none of the other show notes have been fixed. I've fixed a couple of them, but I'm not going to go fix 500. Yes, I've been remiss in the fact that I've let this shit go on for too long. Hey, but it is what it is. I'm by myself. I don't have a producer. I've got no sponsors. I've got no money coming in on this show, except for what you guys gratefully, and I'm very grateful for your graciousness when you throw me Satoshis. That shit's important. That keeps me going. But I've got to grow the show. I've got to get the word out there. I'm always asking for your help to make sure that this show gets into as many hands on as many different platforms as I possibly can, because I suck at marketing. And maybe one of you guys out there doesn't suck at marketing. And now I've got the ability with Podhome to do real, actual splits on a per episode basis. So here's the proposition. One of you guys out there listening to me today, you help me and somehow or another show me that how you've been able to get the word of the show out to other platforms. And I don't know how you're going to do it. I have no idea how this is going to work. I will put you into this show for 10%, or actually for the next show, not this show, for the next show, because by the time you do whatever it is you do, if you do it at all, and I may not get any takers, and that's fine. I'm not going to hold anybody accountable for it. I'm just saying that by the time that all that shit's done, most of the boostergrams will have already come through. Most of the streaming will already have been done, and you won't get shit for it. So take this show, the Palindrome Show, episode 878, and throw it out in the wind and get back to me, let's say, DMs through Noster. Just go to at Nunya Business. If you know my Noster account and you want to help market this particular episode, not all of them, just this, we'll do a test, this particular episode, and I see better performance this particular episode, then I will cut you in for 10% of all the Satoshis that I get on the next episode, which I'm planning on recording and releasing on Friday. Okay? So if you want a 10% cut, I need your Lightning wallet address, and we'll work that out as if for whatever reason I plug you in and it kicks you back out because I don't know the format, I will get back to you. We will work that. But if you want 10% of the cut of the next episode that I release, then help me market episode 878, this episode. And let's see if that works. Like a different kind of Circle P kind of thing, where I'm asking for marketing help. and I will pay you, the pleb, to help me market this show, and I will see you on the other side. All right, guys, over there in Zap.stream, I am still here with you. Thank you for listening. Do me a favor. Test the shit out of this episode. Look at the show notes. Send me, like, even if you can't, if you can afford, like, even if you're like going to boost me like 100 Satoshis or something, do that with a message. So with a message that says, yes, I can read the show notes, or yes, this boostergram works. And I also need to see if streaming works. So if you guys would, maybe like open back up like a Fountain app or some other podcasting 2.0 app and stream me Satoshis, I don't care. Even if it's 1 sat per minute, and like Fountain can't do that. You have to do 10. But if you've got another podcasting app that allows 1 sat per minute, I'm fine with that. I just want to know. I need this thing tested, because it's kind of hard for me to test the thing myself. Anyway, if you guys would help me do that, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys